Okay, so what I'm hoping to do is to just give you a little insight into mindfulness, but also how being a more mindful community can really bring us together as a community and to make a stronger society, but also the best place to live on the earth and be an example for everybody. So, first of all, mindfulness is about paying attention to what is happening when it's happening. Okay? It's being aware of everything that is arising when it's arising. One of the really nice quotes that I've seen is by the Centre of Mindfulness Research and Practice at Bangor University in Wales. And they really talk about it as a quality of being. It's about accepting this moment's experience. And what I love about it is it says it has a transforming potential on how we are with ourselves, but also how we are with others, how we deal with stress and difficult situations and challenges. And this is what we're dealing with constantly on our everyday life, is challenges. That's life. But here's the thing. What we tend to do is run on what we call automatic pilot mode. So we are in the shower and we're thinking about what we've got to do for the rest of the day. We're eating our lunch, and if any of you have eaten your Smarties, did you just throw a whole load in your mouth rather than just one? We tend to be constantly thinking about something else while we're doing one activity. What this leads to is a more reactive state because our mind is constantly thinking about different things. So we are juggling nowadays life, work life, home life, children, school runs, emails, text, and not forgetting box sets. Okay, so this is what we're juggling, and we spend most of our time trying to fit all of this into our lives. And then what I want you to do is I'm going to give you a little scenario so that you can actually see how mindfulness works. So I'm going to ask Raj to come up and be my prop. It's always good to have a prop. Okay, thank you. On the red dot. Just wanted to get on the dot. Okay, so this is the scenario. Imagine that you have been planning for a presentation for a good 4 weeks and you're feeling confident and you decide, okay, I'm going to leave early to work this morning. So we leave early, we get in the car, and unfortunately we hit a road closure. And we hit a lot of traffic. So we sit in the traffic and then we think, I know a different route. I will take this detour. So we act clearly. We take the detour, and guess what happens? There's another road closure. And everybody else has made the same decision, and you are now bumper to bumper in traffic. And there is nowhere to turn. Does anybody recognize this scenario? Especially here in Guernsey, anyway. So here we are. So the scenario is this. We are stuck in traffic. Okay, that is what we call the primary experience. So then what happens now? Oh no, I can't sit in traffic. This is the most important day of my life. What am I going to do? This is terrible. We may then have the thought of, I know, I'll phone. Oh, I left my phone on the table. This always happens to me. Let's think of another one. Who thinks up these road closures? Do they not know about rush hour? So by this time now, how do you think we are? We're gripping the steering wheel. We have tension in our jaw. And finally, we arrive at our destination, and somebody has parked in our parking place. Do you think Raj is going to be clear with his thinking as he gives his presentation? Do you think the receptionist that greets him in the morning saying, "You're late," that he's actually going to be really happy to see her? Or do you think that he doesn't even see her? In fact, he doesn't even acknowledge her. So how many of us do this in a day? Let's imagine that maybe all of us in the day feel like this. Do we see clearly what's happening around us? Can we be compassionate and empathize with what's happening around us? I don't think so. And what mindfulness helps us to do is this. By bringing awareness into the situation, the clear situation, straight away, we can take at least 3 of these off. Sorry, guys. So we can see clearly a little bit more. We can see maybe that actually the way we are reacting is a little bit over the top. We can then bring attention and recognize that these thoughts and feelings that we're having are just that. They're thoughts and feelings. They don't have to dictate how we behave for the rest of the day. We then can take a few moments to just actually experience what's happening. So maybe connect in with our breath. Maybe just relax our grip on the steering wheel. And then all of a sudden, we find ourselves back where we started, with the direct experience. And all of that secondary suffering no longer exists. We are now dealing with the fact that we are stuck in traffic. And there is nothing that we can do about it. And in that place, we find space. We find space to act clearly and to behave with an openness and honesty to the situation. So I could talk about this for a really long time, but I have a time limit. So what I want to do is I actually want to help you to experience what it's like to be in the present moment. So I'm going to invite you to join me in a little practice. So what I'd like you to do, thanks very much. So what I'd like to do is to sit back in your chairs. Place your feet on the floor. Either have your hands on your lap or just folded. And you can either do this with your eyes open or your eyes closed. But sometimes to close your eyes helps you to just bring a sense of calm. If your eyes are open, then just take a downward gaze and try, if you can, to just settle yourselves. And from here now, just bring attention into all the meeting points between your body and the floor. So feeling your feet on the floor. And then bring awareness to feeling your back and your bottom on the chair. Maybe notice the space around you. Then bring awareness to your shoulders and your neck. And notice if you're holding any tension here. And then bring awareness into your face. Are you holding any expression? And now, turn your attention to your breath. And as best as you can, explore your body to find where you feel your breath the most. This might be at your belly, maybe at the tip of your nose, maybe even the back of your throat. And as best as you can, try and follow the entire length of your in-breath and the entire length of your out-breath. Following each breath from its beginning, middle, to its end. Following the in-breath and following the out-breath. And then slowly from here, bring your attention back into your body. And then when you're ready, slowly opening your eyes. And then just noticing how you're feeling. How many of you manage to keep your mind on your breath? It's hard, right? How many of you found your minds were thinking about the presentations that you've been going for, how you're going to change Guernsey? You know, it's really difficult to keep our mind focused on our breath. So you may be asking the question, okay, so focusing on my breath, what use is that to me? Does that keep me motivated, driven, ambitious, sitting and paying attention to my breath? Well, I thought I would use the help of a couple of business executives that have been at the top of their field. So, if this works. Okay, William George, who is he's currently on the board of Goldman Sachs, a board member of Goldman Sachs. He used to be the former chief executive of the healthcare giant Medtronic and is an avid promoter of mindfulness within the workplace. And if you read here, he just talks about how it will make you more of an effective leader. You will make better decisions and you will work better with other people. This is great in the workplace, surely. He says he tends to live a very busy life. Who in here leads a very busy life? Pretty much all of us. It keeps him focused on what's important. So we go back to what Raj was doing there. It takes you back to the primary experience, not the secondary suffering. Okay. Steve Jobs. I don't think everybody in here knows who Steve Jobs is. The late Steve Jobs. And this is what he talks about. He was an avid meditator. And he talks about with the mind, over time it does come calm. And when it does, there's room to hear more subtle things. That's when your intuition starts. And what I like at the end of this is where he says, your mind just slows down and you see a tremendous expanse in the moment. You see so much better than you could see before. This is the platform for inspiration. So can mindfulness help us stay inspired, motivated? I think so. Other corporations that have embraced mindfulness, General Mills, which is one of the world's largest food companies, they have implemented a mindfulness program. Google have created their own mindfulness program called Search Inside Yourself. Business schools are now implementing mindfulness as part of the training. Harvard Business School does this. We also see education embracing mindfulness, with schools across the USA, UK, and even here in Guernsey are embracing mindfulness. A study carried out by Mindful Schools in the University of California found that with just 4 hours of mindfulness training, it improved the children's behaviour significantly. Studies carried out by the University of Exeter and the Mindfulness in Schools.B project in the UK also found that there were huge improvements in cognitive skills and performance skills and focus and concentration. Things that we need in this day and age. So, what else is embracing mindfulness? As Mark said, the medical community. Mindfulness-based cognitive therapy is now recommended by the National Institute of Clinical Excellence with the prevention of the relapse of recurrent depression. Mindfulness has been shown to help people with anxiety, stress disorders, chronic pain, and illness. And Jon Kabat-Zinn, who was the creator of mindfulness back in the 70s, the creator of mindfulness-based stress reduction, he says this: mindfulness is changing the face of health and humanity. So what does this mean for Guernsey? How can we be a mindful community, and what does it mean? Mindfulness brings a level of kindness, empathy, and self-awareness to each of us as individuals. This can only make for a healthier, happier person with more inspiration and greater productivity. We live on an amazingly beautiful island, and we have the opportunity and the potential to make it the best place on earth. But we can only do that if each one of us in here takes the choice or makes the choice to make that change. And the only way we can do that is to take accountability for the way we speak, our behavior, and our actions. And this is how we make a change. A more mindful individual will bring a more mindful community, which will bring a more mindful society, which will only lead to more empathy, compassion, care, and drive to make this the best place in the world. So I'm going to leave you with the words of Mohandas K. Gandhi, which always ring true. Be the change you want to see in the world now. Thank you.